Welcome to Channel Unveiling Mysteries. A beautiful 22-year-old girl, the heiress to a British billionaire family, was Anne Reid. She was fluent in many languages and graduated with straight A's from a prestigious school in England. Her father sponsored a trip around the world for his daughter as a graduation gift. However, the trip that was supposed to be the most beautiful memory of her youth turned into a tragedy because she met a man on this journey, leading to her wrongful death. Recently, a Swiss court opened a murder trial that has captured public attention. The victim was Anna Reid, a famous heiress of a billionaire family who passed away at just 22 years old. Since Anna's death in 2019, the controversy surrounding this case has never ceased. The press and media have constantly sought to uncover more details to bring the mysteries of the case to light. Anna and her sister Millie were born and raised in Harrogate, a town in the wealthy North Yorkshire region of England. The Reid family is very famous there. They own a stud farm of over 300 acres founded by Anna's uncle, Guy Reid. Guy was a renowned racehorse owner and trainer who, for many years, trained many famous racehorse breeds and owned assets and real estate all over the world. The family's total assets amount to billions of USD. Anna's father, Philip Reid, 64, is the de facto manager of the farm, while her mother, Mary, was a mathematics teacher at a university. Unfortunately, Anna's mother passed away in 2014 when she was only 17, after falling down the stairs due to an aneurysm at the age of just 49. Her mother's death caused her father to shower all his love on his two daughters. Anna was not only beautiful, but also academically gifted and intelligent. She was educated at Asheville College, a prestigious school in Harrogate founded in 1877, with tuition fees up to £15,000 per year. Despite growing up in wealth, Anna's friends all described her as a sweet, sociable, and very friendly girl. In her father's eyes, Anna was his pride and the future heir to the family business. Her friends shared that because her family's business was related to horses, Anna had loved the animals since she was a child. Anna even once said that she would rather have a horse than a boyfriend. In addition, she was an excellent equestrian and had participated in several high-level competitions, achieving remarkable results. Anna's dream was to become a professional jockey. On the day Anna graduated from university, her father gave her a very special 21st birthday present, a trip around the world. He hoped that she could broaden her horizons and have the most beautiful memories of her youth. However, what he could never have imagined was that this trip would take his daughter's precious life. So what happened? Back in 2019, Anna had been traveling alone for nearly a year. In February, she arrived in Thailand and met a man who made her fall in love at first sight, Mark Schatzlow, a 32-year-old German bouncer. Perhaps in love, people often lose their reason, and Anna was no exception. She fell passionately in love with Mark, despite the nearly 10-year age difference and his unsavory past. Mark was a former nightclub bouncer with a thuggish appearance, a bald head, a body full of tattoos, and even vulgar words tattooed on his knuckles. His appearance and past indicated he was a gangster. Not only that, Mark's personal life was also extremely complicated, with 2 children from a previous relationship. However, as they say, bad boys are often attractive, and Anna was completely drawn into this relationship. For the next 2 months, they traveled together to Vietnam, Singapore, and Dubai. On social media, Anna frequently shared pictures of the two of them together. Notably, Anna paid for all of their travel expenses. Her father once revealed to the media that before meeting Mark, Anna's travel expenses were about £3,000 a month. But after meeting Mark, this amount increased significantly, sometimes exceeding $10,000 a month for hotels, dining, and luxury activities. Eventually, they arrived in Switzerland and stayed in a luxury hotel, renting a small apartment on the top floor. On April 9, 2019, after dinner and a $140 bottle of champagne, they returned to their room at around 3 a.m. A hotel guest complained to the hotel about hearing furniture being smashed and people arguing. The person also heard a voice saying, "You're killing me," or "You're kidding me." However, the hotel staff paid little attention, thinking a guest might have just forgotten to turn off the TV. Less than 4 hours later, Mark appeared in the hotel lobby in an agitated state, stammering to the staff that his girlfriend was having a health problem. The police and an ambulance were immediately called, and when they entered room 501, the scene was truly chaotic. Tables and chairs were overturned. Glass was shattered on the floor. Photos of Anna and her family were torn to shreds. Her ring was on the floor, and the telephone cord was ripped from the wall. Anna was found dead in the bathtub with signs indicating she had been asphyxiated. Her body had bruises, broken bones, and injuries to her gums, signs of a struggle before she died. From the crime scene, the police immediately arrested Mark. However, due to the pandemic and some other factors, the case was postponed until January 2021 before it was brought to trial. Mark was charged with murder for killing Anna Reed in April 2019, along with charges of fraud and theft. The prosecution and defense had intense arguments at the trial. Mark admitted to strangling Anna with a towel during sexual intercourse, but he denied killing her for her assets. Mark said that while they were on the floor, Anna asked him to keep his hands on her neck as he had done before. But this time she suddenly stopped breathing and stuck her tongue out. He tried to perform CPR, but it was too late. Mark asserted that Anna's death was just the result of a sex game gone wrong. He even tried to portray Anna as someone who liked and often participated in risky sexual games. However, there were many inconsistencies in Mark's testimony. The prosecutor presented evidence of Mark's criminal past. He had a prior conviction for theft, and 3 years earlier had been involved in a brawl, knocking out a man's teeth, for which he was sentenced to 6 months in prison. In addition, Mark had been institutionalized for alcohol and drug abuse. 4 months before meeting Anna, he had a record of violently assaulting a boy on the street. Mark was also deeply in debt, mainly due to spending on alcohol, illegal substances, and a lavish lifestyle. His total debt amounted to more than £40,000. In court, the prosecutor presented that in just 3 months of knowing each other, Anna had spent about £50,000 on Mark. This led the prosecutor to believe that Mark's motive for murder was Anna's wealth. When Anna discovered Mark's huge debt and intended to break up with him, he killed her. The prosecutor argued that Mark killed Anna to continue seizing her assets, because without her, he would lose the financial source that maintained his extravagant lifestyle. An important piece of evidence was presented. 5 months after the case, a hotel cleaning staff found Anna's platinum credit card on the ceiling of an elevator. Mark's fingerprints were found on this card. However, Mark defended that it was just a joke and he had no intention of using it. When asked why he didn't report the credit card to the police, Mark just replied, "Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me." Mark remained adamant that Anna's death was an accident during their risky sex game and not his fault. He also claimed that Anna was a regular at a notorious club in Berlin that encouraged open sexual relationships with strangers. The court carefully analyzed the testimonies and evidence, including Mark's irrational financial spending. Finally, on October 1st, the Swiss court sentenced Mark to 18 years in prison for murder. In the verdict, the judge said that this was a calculated murder. almost reaching the level of a premeditated crime. When Mark felt that he was being abandoned by Anna, he could not control his emotions and killed the woman who loved and financially supported him. The fate of Anna Reed, a young, beautiful, wealthy, and talented girl, was cut short by an unworthy man. This case has raised a question on social media. Why do beautiful women often fall for bad men? In reality, it's not just beautiful women. Many other women can also encounter bad people in love. What's important is that women must love themselves, maintain their self-respect, and not just sacrifice themselves in a relationship. Love must have fairness, mutual investment, and corresponding value to be long-lasting. The case of Anna Reed is not just a personal tragedy, but also reflects many complex issues in modern society. Through this incident, we see the impact of unbalanced relationships in terms of emotions, finances, and power, as well as the importance of protecting oneself in love and life. Anna Reed, a wealthy young girl, entered life full of potential and expectations. However, her naivety in love and trust in her lover led her down a dangerous path. Mark, with his history of violence, debt, and a dissolute lifestyle, exploited Anna's trust and love to serve his personal interests. Anna's love was not just pure affection, but also a great financial sacrifice as she supported Mark on lavish trips. What is worrying is that the imbalance in this relationship was not purely financial. Mark had a history of violence and crime, but Anna seemed to have ignored these warning signs. She was drawn into an unhealthy relationship where she endured more than she received. This is a lesson on the importance of recognizing dangerous signs in love. It's not just an emotional issue. A healthy relationship must be built on mutual respect, support, and responsibility from both sides. Furthermore, this case also exposes the consequences of a lavish lifestyle and dependence on material things. He was driven by financial motives, and when he realized that Anna intended to leave him, he chose violence rather than face the consequences of the luxurious life he could no longer maintain. This highlights a reality in society that many people are willing to use any means, even committing crimes, to maintain an unsustainable lifestyle. The end of the case was an 18-year prison sentence for Mark. Although the court has delivered its verdict, the loss to Anna's family can never be compensated. A young, intelligent, and promising girl had her life taken away in the prime of her life. This is not only a tragedy for Anna, but also a pain for her entire family, and a lesson for society about the consequences of misplaced trust in love. In conclusion, the case of Anna Reed is a warning to all of us about the potential dangers in unhealthy relationships. Respecting personal values and being careful in choosing a partner is essential to avoid similar tragedies. Especially women in love need to understand that love is not a one-way sacrifice. A healthy relationship must be based on equality, respect, and mutual support. If there are signs of insecurity or when one party abuses finances, emotions, or power, it is necessary to recognize them and act in time. The case of Anna Reed has concluded, but the lessons from it will always remind us of the importance of self-protection, awareness, and staying away from toxic relationships. After all, one's own happiness and safety are the most important things. Don't forget to subscribe to the Unveiling Mysteries channel to always receive the latest videos that help you achieve success in life. Thank you for following and accompanying the channel.